Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca and welcome into my first video on this channel. Just a brief backstory: I'm a 30-year-old person with disabilities and mum medical needs child. I'm on Centrelink and this channel is, vlogging all of that and going through my experiences on this journey of life, and also finances, which is something I haven't really touched on. Being on Centrelink, and I've really tried to look for like Australian budget planners, and I know of like Smiley Citrus, who's absolutely wonderful, love her content, but I don't see a lot of people like me who are on Centrelink and who are just trying to budget with a very, very low income. So I hope that this helps anybody else who's on Centrelink and who's wanting to budget and who doesn't really know what to do with their money or just doesn't know where their money goes. That's essentially what this channel is about, just like personal vlogging and life experience, but also a bit of financial guidance along with that. Now, just to preface, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know anything really about finances. I'm just going off of my personal experience and what I use and how I use it. So without further ado, let's swap to the computer and let's get into the budget. Okay, here we are in July. I know we're in August now, but I just want to go through my income. Now, let me just preface, this is not a typical month of income because obviously we had tax time. I'm on family tax benefits, so that has an impact on my income, and I actually had a contracting job for like 4 months of the last financial year, so that also, I paid a little bit of tax, so that also came into effect. So, and also like I had loans and stuff like that. So anyway, Centrelink income, which is my sole income, is I'm on family tax A and B, I'm on partnered parenting payment, and I'm on rent assistance. Currently, at this point in time, that totals to $1,202.40. So that's about like a little under 2.5 for a month, which is not a lot. As a lot of you know on Centrelink, that's not a lot, even though like technically this is, I don't know if you would consider it, some probably would, but I would probably consider this as like a medium range. It's not typical to get this amount considering I am partnered and we have one dependent, which is one child. But I think too that also comes into play because my partner is on carer's payment, he's on the allowance and the regular payment for our daughter. So I think that also comes into play with how much both of us get. Because we are not married, we don't combine our finances in terms of like joint and stuff like that. We do obviously talk a lot about finances and what we want to do with our each paycheck for that fortnight, but in terms of like combining them for budget and stuff like that, we keep it separate until one day if we decide to get married. Then that will, to me in my mind, that will change. We will then merge our budgets and finances and have a joint account and have everything come out of the one account, yada yada yada. So this is solely based off of my income. So going through a bit of last month, so I started off the month, I had a lot of afterpay. I had 2 Centrelink loans that totaled to, I think, nearly like $1,800 all up. That's with the afterpay as well. The first payment that I got for that month was just under $1,000 or nearly $1,100. So obviously between this payment and the second payment of July, I got the family tax balancing. So I ended up, I think I was overpaid by a little bit, but not by much. So I ended up, you can see here, I put an expected amount of like 2 to 3 grand. I wasn't too sure, but I was okay if I didn't get it. But I actually got more, so I got a total of $3,820 for it. That's just for the balancing. That's $617 for tax because I was a subcontractor and I had my own ABN, and the person that I was working for, they didn't automatically contribute tax or super or anything like that. The software that I used was Henry to get my paychecks in, and they automatically deducted a little bit of tax out of each paycheck depending on what I had earned. So that's where the $617 comes from. I unfortunately did see a tax agent this year, which ended up being a mistake because I didn't earn enough, so I still had to pay the tax agent, which I get, but sometimes if you earn enough, you can actually have the tax agent amount deducted from your overall tax. Does that make sense? So instead of paying like upfront for your appointment, it ends up getting taken out of your actual tax amount that you get back, if you get any back. So because it was my first time and because I was under the working threshold and I was only like a subcontractor, I had to pay up front, which was okay, but lesson learned, I'm probably not going to do that next year. Once I got the 3,800, I knew I had a plan. My plan was to put 1,000 into emergency funds and to pay off my Afterpay and my Centrelink loans. So with that, wiped my consumer debt completely, and I was able to get the full entitled amount of what I'm entitled to, which was now $1,202.40. So we're kind of caught up to speed a little bit. This booper part here, since this is my first video, it's pretty much everybody. I have Meniere's disease, so I take regular medication. Basically the medication that I get is not under PBS. PBS is just basically cheaper medications. Not every medication is under PBS, unfortunately. Full price is like $61.99 for one box, and I get $18.25 back, so that's that. The other thing I will just quickly mention here that I do also get back from Medicare, not Bupa, but Medicare, is I am doing EMDR therapy and just therapy in general. The way that it works here in Australia, if either you can do it through health insurance or you can do it through Medicare, which is free, but you do have to go to your regular GP and get what's called a mental health care plan. My EMDR is $240 for like an appointment or a session, and typically it's actually gone up recently. I don't know if that's just a one-time thing or if that's a new amount that I get back, but typically I would probably get like just under 100 back from it, but this last appointment I had, I got $211 back, so I ended up only being out of pocket like $30, which was great. Hopefully that's a standard. So that was a very, very nice surprise. But yeah, those are like the very basics of my income and just this last July in general. Now on to the basic budget and my plan for like moving forward, but this is just for July. It's still pretty much the same. It's just the following months is a lot more structured, a lot more thought out, more planned, a lot more savings accounts for different things. So I have my rent for where we're living. We're actually renting out a room at my partner's dad's place, so we do technically live at home in quotes. So because obviously the rental market is insane. So yeah, we pay $300 food, I do $200 a fortnight contributing. We each contribute per pay. The software or the spreadsheet that I like to use is CodePlenty. I actually did get this off Smiley Citrus, lovely Ella, and I am still very new to it, so bear with me. We're gonna go on this journey together and figure it all out. So yeah, this is what I use, this is how I've set it up. Again, last month was a bit of a whirlwind of a month financially. It's probably the most that I've earned this year alone in a month, and also the messiest month because lots of purchases and savings and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I use. So then we got medications, 124, that's the 62 by 2, and then Bupa, I was paying that monthly, I'm now paying it quarterly, so it's $480 for EMDR for the month, as I usually do fortnightly sessions. I bought a Steam game that was on sale at that time, so I bought that. The tax, obviously $174, that's minus because I didn't expect to pay that, so I paid it, that's why it's minus. A blog, I tried to start a blog, but probably not gonna continue with that, so there's that. Random shopping, this is where like you'll see for next month for the August, it's a lot more structured. And then we have Bupa insurance, which is, there's nothing in there now, but I believe I put 208 in there. This is my savings area. It's a lot, but we will get there. So for emergency, I put 5k. So I've got a grand at the moment, so 4k to go. Christmas, I also put 1,000. That's for this Christmas and next Christmas. Just to have that there, I don't have to worry about it. Car funds, I don't have anything in there right now, but I hope to put at least 3 grand in there. That's just for any maintenance, repairs, and also the yearly rego. I pay my rego yearly, it's about $500 for my car, and because I am on Centrelink, I get a Centrelink discount for rego. That's quite nice, and also it's an older car, so it's going to be cheaper for retro anyway. So clothes line item, that's my clothes, my daughter's clothes, my partner's clothes if he wants to as well. I've just put 500 in there for now as like a buffer. Again, I don't have anything in there yet, but I'm going to be saving up towards it. Same with takeaway. Takeaway is something that I need to cut back on it, but I also want to have a buffer there just to have it there and not have to take out of other areas. Home furniture, pretty self-explanatory, 3,000 at the moment. Again, nothing in there yet, but I'll be able to work up to that. Tattoo. So I do have a tattoo, and coming up at the end of this month in August, I am going to be getting it finished, finally. I don't have 700 in there at the moment. I had 200, but I had to use it for something. But I'll be able to reimburse that back this month anyway. So technically I still have 200 set aside, and then this pay coming, I'm putting 500 in there. So that's $700 for that. So that's all saved and good. Monthly subs, like subscriptions and my phone bill. So my phone bill is like $35. I used to pay, I kid you not, I used to pay like $100 and something through Telstra. That was insane. And now I've switched to Amazon. I've been with them for I think most of this year actually, and I was paying $50, but I've now cut back to $35 because I realised I didn't use as much data like I used to. So yeah, I was able to cut back on that. And then the monthly subscriptions, Spotify and YouTube Premium, that's the family. So yeah, and then so the monthly subscriptions and phone savings, I automatically now transfer that in there, just so it's in there, it's already ready to go. A lot of like my budgeting now is a lot of auto transfers, and you know, I do it before payday, well and truly in advance, in case I need to adjust something if I've missed something, or if like there's a price change of something, you know, whatever. So those are my savings accounts at the moment. Now let's go into debt. Okay, now moving into my debts. So obviously last month I had more debts, now I don't. The only debts that I personally have in my name is my student loans. So I have a VSL loan or a VET loan. I have an advanced diploma of interior design and decoration. So I did the first 2 years, which is the VET or the VSL loan, which is currently sitting at just over $5,500, and then my help loan, which is the 1 year of the advanced diploma, so that's currently sitting at just under 8.5. So I've gone through phases over the years, and by the way, I graduated in 2020, which was the worst year to graduate, but I digress. Also, just side note, I don't know what this debt-free M means, so if you know what that means and what I'm supposed to put in there, please let me know. So obviously we don't, in Australia, for our federal student loans, I don't know about private, but for most student loans, we don't pay interest, but we do have indexation, which is done at, I think we find out what the indexation will be in April, and then it comes out like June 1st, or it goes into all of our loan accounts on June 1st. So I went through phases when I first started studying where I was going to pay it off, but then indexation hit, and it just kept hitting, and then obviously I was studying at the time, so it just kept building, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to leave it till I've completed it, so I have a fixed, or not a fixed, but like more of an exact amount. And then I started paying it off, and then the indexation hit, and that just took, essentially it's like I didn't even pay anything. So I've gone back and forth with paying this off and just leaving it. For those that don't know that are not in Australia, our student loans, the way that we repay them, usually it's by income based. So currently it's now switched, I believe. It was a starting amount of like 54,000, and now I think it's at like 67,000 before you have to put a percentage towards your student loan. Yeah, so I've literally gone back and forth so many times over the years whether to just like buckle down and pay it off, because it's also like I'm just putting money to nothing, but then I'm also becoming debt free when I pay it off. So I've just, yeah, but we're gonna do it this time. We're gonna do it together. Come along with me. I do want to buy property one day. That is my goal one day, so I would like to just have this cleared. My plan is to pay off the VSL loan, this one first, because it's the lowest amount, I don't need to worry about interest rate anyway, so I just do the snowball method, which is lowest to highest. I'm currently planning on putting like $400 a month, which I'm hoping to have at least the VSO loan mostly paid off by May, because the indexation hits 1st of June, and they say like if you are going to pay it off early, to have it paid off like at least around May or like a few days before the 1st, so that you don't get the indexation on that loan. So that's the plan for that, and then I think if I do get any extra balancing next year for the FTB, or any extra income, if like I do get a job and tax and stuff like that, then I'm gonna just chuck that onto the 8,000 there. That was my July budget, and kind of a little bit of a breakdown of like how I'm going to budget in the future, what I guess what you're going to expect moving forward. That's going to be it for me today, so thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you're all having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.